fakes the three, drives, blocked by Biyombo. James down the lane, fake, and fouled by Biyombo. James pops up quickly, alley-oop to James. Oh, what a block by Biyombo.
He dominated LeBron and the Cavs for one game, got paid $70 million for it, and then completely vanished. This is the shocking story of Bismack Byombo's one-night God mode.
Derozan, Biyombo open and finishes. Timeout Cleveland. It's back up to 14 with 3.5 to play.
Biyombo got selected surprisingly high in the 2011 NBA draft, going 7th overall to the Sacramento Kings, way ahead of guys like Kawhi Leonard, Klay Thompson, and Jimmy Butler. And that was solely based on 1 year of professional basketball in Fuenlabrada, Spain, where he averaged only 6 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 blocks per game in 17 minutes of action. I guess scouts thought that he would turn into a modern version of Dikembe Mutombo since he was born in Congo as well. There's no other logical explanation really. Fans in Charlotte were quickly disappointed in their lottery pick as Biyombo averaged a modest 5 points, 6.5 rebounds, and 1.8 blocks per game in his first 2 seasons as a starter. Don't get me wrong, Biz played his heart out every minute he was out on the floor, but his talent was very limited. He had no offensive bag whatsoever. His only way of getting buckets was dunking.
That is nasty. Henderson inside. Here he comes again! Oh! Reggie Evans, you're the poster. Congratulations.
So Bismack was relegated to the bench, where he spent the next 2 seasons posting a measly 3.7 points, 5.5 boards, and 1.3 blocks per contest in 16 minutes of playing time. I don't want to use the word buzz, but let's just say that all the buzz around Biyombo was long gone. So the Raptors picked him up in the 2015 free agency for a 2-year, $5.7 million deal to serve as a backup center behind Jonas Valanciunas. All they asked of him was to protect the paint for 20 minutes per night, and he thrived in that role.
And it's denied by Bismack Byombo. 10-point game, and Walker denied by Bismack Byombo.
In the first game against his former team, Biyombo balled out with 8 points, 18 rebounds, and a career-high 7 blocks, albeit in an overtime loss at the end. But against the Pacers, in a similar scenario, the Black Panther was at his best.
Here's Bismack Byombo.
There you go.
And Biyombo with a bucket. Here is Norman Powell with the jumper, too strong. Biyombo with another rebound, put back, strong move.
Biz exploded in the overtime win against Indiana, grabbing a franchise record 25 rebounds to go along with a season-high 16 points. Now that's a monster double-double. Playing all 82 games for Toronto, he averaged 5.5 points, 8 boards, and 1.5 blocks per game, which is quite good coming from your backup center. The Raptors, led by prime Derozan and Lowry, finished the season with a stellar 56-26 record, good enough for the 2nd seed in the East, behind only Cleveland. So in the first round, they faced Paul George and the Pacers, and with the series tied at 2 apiece, Game 5 in Canada went down to the wire. And shockingly enough, coach Dwane Casey decided to play Biyombo the entire 4th quarter, sitting Valanciunas on the bench.
Lowry gets himself free to Biyombo! Two-handed stuff!
That was beautiful by Kyle Lowry. Pump fake up and under, and Biyombo cutting at the right time.
This turned out to be the right move, as Biz rewarded his coach's trust with 10 points and 16 rebounds, 2 of which came on the offensive end in the final period when the Raptors were mounting their comeback win. Toronto moved past Indy in 7 games before meeting with Dwyane Wade and the Miami Heat in the 2nd round. In Game 3, the Raptors lost Valanciunas due to an ankle injury, which meant a starting role and some heavy minutes for our hero. And he made the most of it in Game 5, hyping up the crowd in an electric sequence on both ends.
Wide open look, doesn't go. Bismack with the thunderous slam. How about big business? 8 points, 4 rebounds. Wade to the rim, denied. In the finger wag. The other way. To Biz. Yes! You just saw that. Getting it done at both ends.
Biyombo rejects Wade at the apex and then throws down a 2nd consecutive power jam in transition to send the crowd into a delirium. But his best performance of the series came in that decisive Game 7 when he dominated the glass on both ends of the court.
Derozan To the basket, blocked by Dang. Biyombo right there. Lowry goes to Joe Johnson. Nice feed to Biyombo! And the foul! Johnson drives on Carroll. Swatted by Biyombo. Lowry back to Biyombo!
Biz took over in the third period to give his team a 14-point lead, after which Miami couldn't come back. He finished the most important game of his career, at least until that point, with a huge double-double of 17 points, which is the most he ever scored in the playoffs at the time, and 16 rebounds on 75% efficiency. But then came the Cleveland Cavaliers at the peak of their powers, and Toronto lost game 1 and 2 on the road by a total margin of 50 points. Yeah, it was that bad. However, in a must-win game 3, the Raptors got a superhuman performance by Biyombo.
Here's Kyrie Irving. Drive, shot blocked by Biyombo. Irving gets fancy, drives, blocked by Biyombo. Carroll drives on Irving, throws up a wild shot. Biyombo is there, inside to Patterson.
Bismack put on his Black Panther mask and shut down the way to the basket for Kyrie twice. And he grabbed 16 rebounds in the first half alone, 4 of them on the offensive end. This helped Toronto build a 13-point lead heading into the break, and he gave 110% in the second half to preserve it.
Thompson, Biyombo may have gotten a piece of it. Fakes the 3, drives. Blocked by Biyombo, but a foul.
Oh, it's clearly a contact. You see that left hand right away goes to his body. You don't want the foul. You got to go straight up with both hands according to the rules.
That's a good block.
You don't follow the rules.
Oh, that was a clean block by Biz on LeBron James, but the ref called a foul. And after seeing the replay, the only foul is an offensive one by LeBron's elbow. And look at this incredible hustle.
Biyombo, another rebound. Biyombo back up and gets hammered.
He snatched the offensive board between 3 defenders, and he made sure to rock the rim and the crowd in the final period.
A scoring lob as Biyombo.
The Cavs running the same exact play, trying to get similar action out of
Jump
it.
hook rolls in. Derozan, Biyombo open and finishes.
Get this, for 8 straight minutes in the fourth, Biz was the sole guy scoring for the Raptors. His 6 points in a row were crucial for his team to hold off the surging Cavs, restoring a double-digit lead. And on the other side, he was left on an island with LeBron James.
James down the lane, fake, and fouled by Biyombo. James pops up quickly. He thought Biyombo pushed him down afterwards.
Looking at it live, Mike, to me that was a flagrant.
Biyombo gets sick of LeBron, grabs him by the neck and throws him on the ground, earning a flagrant foul. Regardless, the Raptors stayed afloat and won game 3 behind his God mode stat line of 7 points, 4 blocks, and a franchise record 26 rebounds. Let that sink in for a moment. In game 4, he was essential once again, topping the game 3 block on LeBron.
Alley-oop to James. Oh, and a block by Biyombo, but a foul.
Wow, this is probably the greatest block on LeBron James during his 23 years of play, but the refs ruined it by calling another cheesy foul. That's 2 grown men going chest to chest, and Biyombo looked like the clear winner. Nevertheless, he helped his team win another close game against the heavy favorites with 5 points, 3 blocks, and 14 rebounds. The reality check was harsh though, as the Cavs dismantled Toronto in Game 5 and 6, winning by a total margin of 64 points. However, the heroic playoff run secured Biyombo a staggering 4-year, $72 million contract with the Orlando Magic in the summer of 2016. Why in the world do you bring a third big man to play behind Nikola Vucevic and Serge Ibaka and pay him $18 million a season? During his 2 years in Florida, Biz put up a boring 6 points, 6 rebounds, and 1 block per game in 20 minutes off the bench for a team that didn't even sniff the playoffs. From today's perspective, his contract is considered one of the worst in franchise history. After that, Biyombo became an NBA journeyman, switching 5 teams in the next 7 seasons while never earning more than $5 million a year. In 2024, we remember him collapsing on the bench while on the Thunder. Luckily, he turned out to be alright. And nowadays, he's serving as a veteran enforcer behind Victor Wembanyama. And speaking of that, Nikola Pekovic was the ultimate NBA enforcer for 5 straight seasons. Many players were legitimately afraid of him, considering him to be the strongest guy in the league. I made a detailed breakdown of Pac-Man's career right here in this video, so check it out and talk to you in the next one. Peace out.